What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be? What's it gonna be? How you gonna be? Who you gonna be?
There are 13 energy centers in and outside of your body, below your feet and above your head. They're called your chakras. Your chakras govern your reality. They make your life happen. They're fueled by your subconscious thoughts, your life force, your action, sexual energy that exists in all of us, creating from the vibration that flows within us. Constant, consistent creation, directed by the choices that we make. You have the right to be who you're supposed to be, so what's it gonna be? You are the master of your vibration. Feed your mind for elevation. There is no time for contemplation. The time is now. So what's it gonna be?
This is not a cult. This is not a game.
Damn,
this is truth. They done let the Moabs in the dough. 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 Islam, Allah, Spirit. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough. Turbans and the feds, green star, red shirt. Yeah. We was in every nation before Europeans was on earth. Queen Khalifa ruled in California, and that's law. Anunnaki giants had our faces standing tall. Yeah. Simulation like the Sims, the sheep answer the black. What? But Noble True Ali told us that we was never that. Pilgrimage to Mecca took a trip up to Chicago. Yeah. India means indigenous. Come get this knowledge. All y'all live in hell, Negro, colored, African. All law, all is well. Spread my wings and fly on. Slavery is fabricated. They were slaves before us. Slave to some Slavics, and that wasn't us. I'm focused on the hidden history they hid after we flooded. Treaty of peace and friendship, nigga. Don't think I don't know it. My woman ain't no bitch, cause she's an empress, Moabitess. And we got nationality, nigga. Come get like us. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Hey, we gonna keep doing it till we get these ones in tune with this law. You know what I'm saying?
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Yes, sir.
Islam. Allah. Spirit.
Royalty.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Allah Akbar. On the drum.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
King Zakir. Moorish American land. Moorish American chief. Moorish American 5. Indigenous king when you see me. Yes. We draw the 7, we gods. Infinite spiritual being. Alhamdulillah for Allah. See Allah that got the Nazim. Yes. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Yes. Who put me in tune? Chief. 20. Nigga, we don't draw them colors. Cause crayons, we never be. Black. We got a real nationality, nigga. Be on the law when you drawing with me. Indigenous pussy, I know who I be. Kufas, I'm knowing they non-believers. Law on the draw, I be the leader. See, I'm enforcing the peace. See, when you one of the most, we don't perpetuate beef. Holy Quran, right over left in the streets. This be the anthem for all of the members. Larry Hoover, Chief Malik, yes.
They done let the Moabs in the
they
dough.
They all Moorish Americans.
I'm They done let the Moabs in the dough.
What's up, Mo?
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Peace to the guys.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Yeah.
Islam.
All praise to Allah. 5 on the left, 2 on the right, get right.
Spirit. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Oh, you a coward shooting shots. It's your own brother, but you won't. Go and get them toys for George Floyd. These gangsters ain't grown. Got the mindset of little boys. Coulda did like the mafia and made your own city, boy. Instead, you rather die for a block you don't even own. Instead of cleaning up the streets, you riding with a dirty phone. 12 on your case. You coulda had a free name. One from your forefathers and dropped your old slave name. I'm just giving free game.
Let the Moabs in the dough.
And the real one's gonna peep game.
Moabs in the dough.
Jay Brandon.
They don't let the Moabs in the dough.
Hey.
They don't let the Moabs in the dough.
MSTA.
Islam is Allah, Spirit. They don't let the Moabs in the dough. They don't let the Moabs in the dough.
Woo, woo. That's some powerful stuff. Royal family, King Darius, King Zakir, and J. Brandon Bay. And thank you, Minister Mo Life, for sending us this fantastic Moorish American Moab anthem. This is brilliant. I love it. I support it. I will definitely continue to play it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to Master Vibration 13 study session on May 27th, 2022. I am Minister SEG 13, and I am with Minister Solution 13. Hey, Solution.
Hi. It's a high vibration day.
Yeah.
We're going to last, 72 hours, definitely been. Has it been longer than that?
Well, it's been longer than that because we celebrated the anniversary on Wednesday.
Yeah.
We celebrated our week anniversary of being ordained ministers for Infinite Ministries. And ever since we took acknowledgement of that and recognized that truth, it's been on ever since. Like, we've been ministering, we've been just doing what we do, but on another level of comfort, on another level of knowing. And so I want to say thank you to Prophet Noble Drew Ali. I want to say thank you to Minister Grady Partlow. And I want to say thank you to all of the ministers. I want to say thank you to Minister Don Killiam, who's going to be joining us on a private session tomorrow, and we'll give you guys notice on that. But this information is coming in now loud and clear, and it's very powerful, and it's very easy for us to recognize the information right now. Hola, Jasmine love. Welcome. So I want to talk about the areas that, and we're going to get to it. I'm going to keep in the flow of what we're going, but as we progress with this session tonight, I want you to know that we are focused on our root and our sacral chakras. Freedom is in the root, because when you're able to access your freedom and ground yourself in the truth of what is stated in the First Amendment of the United States Constitution and all over the world, is that I'm going to, because I don't want to paraphrase anything, so I'm going to go ahead and tell you what it says, because it's important for us to always remember this, to always know this, and to know that we have this right. The First Amendment of the United States Constitution, 1789, and then it was revised in 1992. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, abridging the freedom of speech or the press, or the right of the people peacefully to assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. So when you recognize, when you recognize what that is and what that means, and that you have the right to it, it changes your life. Because that's what happened with us. What happened with us is that we always knew we had this right. And then when when we connected with Prophet Noble Drew Ali in 2013, he reminded us of this right, and he showed us how to get it. But then what happened when we started looking into the Moorish temples for information, then we came into the reality that the Moorish temple had been tainted with a lot of what they call dirty Moors. And so these are people that have taken the studies and the knowledge of the prophet and used it for their benefit, and have taken it, kind of like, what this government did with the Bible, how they took the Lord's scriptures and then they,
a little bit of truth,
yeah,
manipulated it and tainted it. made it. Well, I guess they say the truth. All it takes is a drop of untruth to taint
and make it all gray.
Yeah.
Take the purity out of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what they did. Hola, Cherise. Hola, I'm Minister Lovely. So good to see you. It's so funny. We got all this love in here. We have Minister Jasmine Love. We got I Minister Cherise Lovely. Look at us. We got I Minister Michaela Lovely. We got a lot of love up in here. But so what happened when the Moorish temples got infiltrated? They got infiltrated and they started they waived their rights, the rights that Prophet Noble Drew Ali had been telling us about. They waived their right under the statutory regulations under a 501c3.
They incorporated.
Yeah, so they incorporated themselves with the idea that they were unincorporated, because this is what Prophet Noble Drew Ali teaches, right?
Mm-hmm.
But they went ahead and put it up under a corporation when they signed it, when they turned it over into a 501c3, because when you open up a 501c3, you waive your rights in the First Amendment of the Constitution. So you don't have those rights anymore. And nobody's going to tell you that. They're not going to tell you that. It was an infiltration.
No, they want you there.
They want you there.
Yeah, they want you under their jurisdiction.
Absolutely.
Under their compliance, under their rule. They want you there.
You get out of your self-mastery, your own jurisdiction, your government lawful jurisdiction, and you put yourself under their jurisdiction. And see, the beautiful thing about all of this is that when you get to know what this truth is, you feel it in everything that you are, and you will know exactly what to do. Nobody has to tell you what to do. You will know. I mean, of course, you're going to get guidance on, what steps to follow. And that's where we go to our ministers that have been doing it for years, for lots of years. They have been knowing this for a very long time. But now is the time for that truth to be revealed. It started being revealed in 2020, 2021. Videos started popping up about what a religious organization is and what a private member association is. And this is something that Solution and I have been acting this way our whole entire time when we started the Faith Tour. And so we've been doing it. We've been practicing it. And so just a week ago, we were ordained with the confirmation of what we have already known and what we have already been doing. All we wanted is for this government to leave us the hell alone. And we knew that there were ways about it, because look, there's a bunch of Moors. And even if, and I guess that's why they call them dirty Moors, because even if they're dirty, it still doesn't take them away from being a Moor. Being a Moor is your birthright as well. We can't take that from anybody. But the way that people get down, you're going to know. Yeah, and you're going to know how somebody gets down by their frequency. And it was a little harder to tell in 2013. But in 2020, it's crystal clear. You can see the dirty Moors a mile away. And a dirty Moor would be somebody who is more interested in making money for themselves by the laws of truth, the universal laws and the principles that have been, people dedicated their lives to. And they take that truth and they sell it to their own people. They don't teach them about proper exchange. They're not teaching them about how they have that very right. And it's safe to say that they were not aware. So we're not mad at people for doing what they've done. Everybody has done what they needed to do to survive, right? However, in this day and age, here we have born Infinite Ministries, where people get to learn that they are infinite beings and that their infinite gifts cannot be taken away from anyone because they were ordained by Most High, Allah, God, Dios, to have them. And so it is your right to operate under them. It is your right to do everything that you do in your life as long as it's not hurting anyone. If you are helping people, you are doing God's work. And everyone in this space does God's work every single day. Every single moment of the day, I'll say that. And so with that, you should be able to go on about your life without being honored, without being bothered, without being bothered, without being taxed, without being molested. And this is just your right. This is the right for all soul beings in this space where humanity exists. So I wanted to and welcome everyone that just came in. Hola. I'm Minister Gabrielle. Welcome. Okay. So I had just wrote that we have been in celebration mode since we got ordained, and it has entirely changed, broadened my perspective, and has lifted a weight off of me that I carried for a very long time. And the weight that I was carrying was that, okay, so we got Master Vibration Study Group, and Master Vibration Study Group is a business. It's part of a business, the Master Vibration 13 self-healing layer, which was operating like a business under an LLC, right? And so what was bothering me was that running this business like an LLC, we were still running the business like a nonprofit, because we have different groups and different things that we do, and we're constantly sharing and giving information and, doing all of these things that we do just because it's what's in our hearts to do. But under the statutory regulation in LLC, you have to jot all these things down. You have to save all of your receipts. You have to make sure that all of these, these rules that they created, we have to make sure all of a sudden now, because we did an LLC, we have to abide by these rules that they're doing.
Legalities. Legally.
Yes. And my spirit was saying, hell to the no. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't do it. And so we didn't do it. And what I say we didn't do, because we did go ahead and we opened up the LLC. But when we opened up the LLC, we still did not, we refused, we did not consent to their laws of having to do these taxes. I just did not agree. And all of you that have purchased Orgone energy batteries from us, you guys have never paid a tax, because I just refused to put it on there. My spirit, it would not allow it. And so ancestors, divine guidance kept saying, do what you do. It's all taken care of. Don't worry about it. And I mean, I would hear that. I would hear what they were saying. But in my inner core, in my root chakra, I was still creating worry from that. It was heavy.
In your root chakra, you had what is that statement? The only thing in life that is certain is death and what?
Taxes.
There it is.
That was rooted in there on the subconscious level for a long time.
In everybody.
Yes, indeed. I Minister Solution. Yes, indeed. So that, and see, when you have a subconscious fear, you're not feeling it right away. You don't know exactly what it is. Minister or not. I didn't know. It was in there, dug deep. And those things kept keeping the truth in its totality away from me. Right? But when that was taken away, when that was lifted, then everything shifted and everything changed. And that's what happened. That's what has happened now. Because when you align yourself with the truth, and you are aligned with it, you've been aligned with it all along, it's just that little, dusting that you have to do to clear the path so you could see it clearly. And that's what happened. That's what happened because, and look, it wasn't even anything that it was, how we call divine time and divine timing? See, I got this information last year. We got this information last year. And it didn't move us the way that it did this year. Why? Because there was still work in the root and sacral chakras that needed to get done in order for us to see clearly what is being presented to us. See, these thoughts of the only thing that is real is death and taxation had me on lockdown. And so I was stuck when they would send a letter, or when I felt that they were going to be in my business, it would give me anxiety. And I'd be like, And then I'd just be stuck, and I'd be like, well, then I'm not going to do. My fear was paralyzed me so much so that I refuse to take on new clients. I refuse to take on any new business, because if y'all don't understand that real money is us and real money is gold and silver, that's God's money, then I'm not supposed to be doing business with you no way. And so that's what we had to do, so that we could just step back and really ground ourselves into who we are, so that we can access the truth. And I'm going to say that again, just so that you could recognize what it is that's happening here when I say, when we ground ourselves in who we are. So when I started to panic, my panic didn't say, oh, we got to call an attorney, we got to talk to a lawyer, we got to see somebody, my panic said, let it go and go meditate. Go chant the 72 names of God. Do that. And so that's what we did. And we've been chanting the 72 names of God, meditating on the 72 names of God, since we told you guys about it. And y'all already know how we get down over here. We're going to introduce you to something, but we're not going to force it on you. If you feel it, you feel it. If you don't, you don't. It's not for everybody. It took me 2 years to adopt the 72 names of God. So I don't expect anybody. Y'all already know how we get down. I don't expect anybody to do what we do because we're doing it. You got to do what you do because it's in you to do. And that's law. That's just what it is. I self-law and master. And so if you are agreeing, this is what we were talking about earlier. It's like you start a business, you start a trust, right? And you are the trustee of that trust. So that means that you are in command of everything that happens in that trust organization. So when something wrong happens in that, you can't be like, oh, dang, I didn't know that. So, okay, let me start over. Like, there's nobody that you could blame. You can't say, oh, well, so-and-so didn't tell me that, man. Solution, why you didn't tell me that? Why you didn't tell me that? I can't blame him for my ignorance. I can't blame him for that. And I know it says it somewhere. Ignorance is no excuse.
Then ignorance of the law is no excuse.
Ignorance of the law is no excuse. I know y'all seen that on them shows, on them court TV shows. Look, ever since last week, everything has been becoming clear. I was like, so now I know why the Pope don't ever get in trouble. It's out of the United States jurisdiction. So when he go molesting kids, hey, he didn't kill the kids. Did he kill the kids? Nah, he didn't kill the kids. He just molested them and horribly damaged them for the rest of their lives. But he didn't kill them. Right. So the Vatican does not have they don't have to.
They're not under jurisdiction.
They're not under the jurisdiction of the U.S., so they don't have to turn over the Pope. They don't have to say, go on and take the Pope and you guys could put him in your jail. They will not, cannot, don't have to do that unless the Pope killed someone and they have proof of that shit. Only way that it can happen. And so then that means that their government excommunicates them and puts them into the jurisdiction of the government in where they committed the crime. This is what happens when you go to jail and you make you did a crime somewhere, but they catch you. Let's say they catch you in New York, but you did a crime in California. Well, the jurisdiction, the law in California, because they're their own government, they contact the government in New York and they say, look at what this person did in our United States. Go ahead and hand them over. And so the government in New York says, we're gonna go ahead and give you up to the jurisdiction on where you committed that crime. Is out of our hands. That's the government. That's the power that they have. And guess what? That's the power that you have as an ordained minister, as a minister of a religious organization. And who says what that religion is? You say what that religion is. I am my religion. My study of myself is my religion, and I believe that with my whole heart. I am an infinionaire. Infinionaire is my religion, and I believe that with my whole heart. I stand by that. And so there is no law, there is no government, there is no government that can come against that law. None. If I did not murder somebody, I didn't kill somebody, I'm not doing evil deeds. Look, the only reason why the Illuminati can get away with what they get away with is because them motherfuckers is under private organizations. They are under 508c1As. They know about this law, the First Amendment, and what they have the right to do, and they are exercising that shit all the way to the bank and all the way to the souls of all of the people that they can suck on. They know their rights.
So the minister said, if you don't exercise your rights, you don't have any.
Say that again.
He said, if you don't exercise your rights, you don't have any.
How could you even? How could you even have rights if you're not exercising them? Because God, Allah, Dios, lo que lo quieras llamar, whatever you want to call it, that is the source that you are directly created from. So what does that make you? A direct extension of that source. So everything that you ask for is given every time. Every time. And here's the formula to that. We've talked about that. Y'all know this one. If you are asking with your mind and with your heart, if that is in alignment, it is done. And it doesn't matter if it's good, bad, or indifferent. Because we're asking not with our mouths, not with our written word. We are asking through our chakra system that is vibrating a frequency, and it'll vibrate in a low vibration or it'll vibrate in a high vibration. So if it's vibrating in a low vibration, then whatever energy in that low vibration is calling, that's what is coming into your life. That is what you are experiencing because that's what you are calling. That's what you are commanding. You are commanding it with the vibration of your body. You're not commanding it with your words. And this is where people get stuck because people are being told, say you're rich. Say you're a millionaire. Say that. Say it 1,000,000 times and then it'll happen. That shit ain't going to happen if you don't believe it. It's not going to happen if you don't feel it in your heart, if you don't know it in your mind, if that crown chakra is not open, receiving the information that allows you to stay grounded and know that this is what it is, that you do have access to that as an infinionaire, you are the money. You are the money. Do you understand what that means? And the First Amendment of the Constitution confirms that. You have the right in all of this. In your ministry, you have the right to commerce. You have the right to family. You have the right to travel. You have the right to defend yourself. You have the right to create birth certificates. You have the right to ordain weddings and ordain other ministers, because if it's your religion, it's what you believe in, you are going to communicate your heart and your mind to other people that are in that same frequency, in that same vibration. And these become your fellow ministers that are doing their ministry and sharing their ministry from their heart and their minds. And these collaborative ministries grow together because if I'm thriving, you're thriving. That's just what it's supposed to be. We are reflections of each other. And see, in the regular world, in the old world, what people are experiencing are reflections of themselves carried on through low vibrations. We're coming from a programmed world where people are programmed to constantly exist in their lower vibrational frequencies. So now the manifestation is chaos because it all has been done through the low vibrational frequencies that are emitted every single day. So the only way to get out of it is to raise your frequency. And the only way to raise your frequency is to go within yourself and start with the simple step of meditation and getting to know your chakra system so that you can start having control over how you operate your system, your emotional guidance system. You're not going to get caught up over no motherfucking monkeypox. What the hell? You're not, that's not going to, that's not going to give you heart palpitations. You ain't worried about that. You know who you are. You can heal yourself through the power of the Most High that resides in you always. You have all solutions to healing. All you have to do is access them. And no, you don't have to do it alone because you have a network of people that are on your same frequency that when you need them, they always come. And everybody in the study group is a testament to that because when y'all need me, when y'all need solution, when y'all need us, we are there. When you are thinking about us, we show up, we call, whatever the situation is. That is how energy works and flows. And this is what's happening in our existence. And so, you know what I did on Wednesday? Because see, y'all didn't even know we had a celebration. We didn't even know we were celebrating. So the reason why we went to the beach on Wednesday is because Michaela's on vacation for a week. And we were like, we were supposed to be in Southern California. That didn't work out. So we were like, okay, let's go to the beach. And then Minister Ebony tells us there's a beach in Richmond, Keller Beach. That's like a private beach an hour and a half away from Northern California, from where we are. Well, it's still Northern California, but I'm saying from Sacramento. So then we go, we say, okay, that's what we're going to do. So it was just a plan to go to the beach and spend the day at the beach. And so then I can't remember exactly when it was that it hit me, that it was like, hold up. This is a celebration. They're celebrating because we had because there were people when we got to the beach. There was a couple that were there, and they were taking pictures of the work that they do. She does. We wrote down the name of her company, but it's a candle company, and she does candles. And she was taking pictures. It seemed to be her and her husband perhaps were doing that, and he was taking pictures, she was posing them, and we're looking at their energy, and we have this new information, and so we gave them the information about the 508 and some things for them to be able to research, and they were very grateful for it. They were very happy that they made the connection with us on that day. And I tell Solution, I said, see, look at us, we at work, we're working. And it just confirmed we've been doing it all along. And so now we have the right to do it without being bothered. And we know that. So it definitely feels different. And so in that acknowledgement, then we start seeing, immediately that moment, it felt like a celebration. We're celebrating.
Started seeing gophers.
And then we started seeing the gophers. And the gophers started coming out of the rocks. And they kept coming close. Well, Solution saw one first. I'm going to have to post that video. And Michaela and I were over in the rocks, just, in the water, doing our thing. And Solution sends us a video, and it's this gopher that's coming just very, very close to him. And it's coming like it was by a sandal, and it was just really close, kind of like telling him, like, what you got, man? And so he sent us the video. We saw that. We went to go look at it, and we sat there, for a minute. And of course, these are animals, and they feel energy. And so when they felt comfortable enough to come out, they actually came out and said hi. And they came out close enough to where we were like, let's give them an offering for coming to say hi. And so we had nuts and berries. And so it took them a little bit. But then one came, and then another one came, and then they just kept coming. And then they were just very comfortable. They would come, touch me in the leg,
they
like,
ate till they was full.
Yeah,
so they started storing.
Yeah, they ate till they were full. Then they started storing. Then we had this family next to us that had some children that were amazed by what was happening. So they wanted to come. And it was like, okay, so do y'all remember the Boondocks? Y'all remember the Boondocks and the character Riley? So picture that Riley and Huey. Well, the personality of Riley was in this little boy, and it was just so funny because he's a good little boy, but a rough, when people, you already know what it's like in the hood and how our children have to grow up with a different kind of knowing, a different kind of aggression. And you definitely see that when they're young because they're taught to be tough. And so this was a tough little Riley. This was a little boy that, he knew what was up. And, so they were first, one of the things that gave us an opportunity to minister is that we got an opportunity to tell them, don't feed the animals pizza, because that's not going to be good for them, because they had a really super shiny coat. And so we were able to explain to them if they eat pizza, it might get them sick, and then they're not going to look as good as they look. So, that was interesting. And they received the information, which was good, because sometimes you could get some kids that could be like, you ain't my mama. I'm gonna go on and feed them this pizza. They eating it. Yeah. So that wasn't the case. It was available. Yes, they were available for the information, and they were just really fascinated by the way the gophers were eating from our hands, and specifically with Aziri. Aziri's 7 years old, so that's a little kid like them, and they're like, she's doing it. Wow, and so we just kind of guided them in their fear, because that's what it is. You're scared of something. And we told them how they're more afraid of us than we are them. They're going to move away, and they're not just going to bite you. We had already determined that. So it just turned into such a wonderful moment, and it just kept happening, like great, wonderful moments. Then I had taken my my boxing equipment to go work out. We wanted to work out at the beach, but since it was such a small private beach, I was feeling like I didn't really want the attention of that, so I kind of like stood down for a minute, and we did other things. But when the beach cleared out, we were like, all right, gonna work out. So started doing my little shadow boxing and getting ready. And then, first of all, that it was a fantastic feeling, like shadow boxing and grounding in the water and being, it's like a lot of people think that boxing is just about, I want to hit somebody, or I want to, hurt somebody. But boxing is a discipline that gives you just so much foundation on grounding and being able to defend yourself and protect yourself and have that confidence of the ability to do that. It changes your whole aura. It changes everything. And this too, our survival instincts, all of that comes from our root chakra. So being able to do that on the beach for me was super duper powerful, and I enjoyed it immensely, and we're definitely doing that again. And so then I got to the gloves and the pads. So, I'm doing my pads with solution, and there were two, I'm going to say Latinos because I don't know exactly where they're from, but two Latinos under a tree, and they were counting the rounds. They were having such a good time watching me train that it was like, and it was just giving me life, you guys, because I didn't know that they were really watching at first, but then, when they started clanking their Corona bottle together after each round, like being the bell, I was like, this is just hilariously amazing. And it was just a good feeling because they were laughing, they were entertained, and all I was doing was doing what I do. Matter of fact, they were trying to get us to do 12 rounds. I'm like, I got 8 for you. How about that? They were like, oh, come on, 12, dame 12. I'm like, yeah, no, solamente tengo 8. I only have 8. And so, after I finished, then they left. But it's like when you start thinking about the energy exchange that happened in that moment, they were able to receive, to heighten their vibration over something that we were doing just organically. So this is an example of how we minister to people and how we do God's work in everything that we do when we're doing good, when we're doing something out of our hearts and out of love and it feels good. Other people are going to feel that too. And it's going to affect them. They didn't have to know we were ministers. They didn't have to know nothing about our work. All they knew was that they were in that moment and they felt good and they had smiles on their face, and it was just, it continued on. It continued on the whole day.
You might have inspired that lady to work out.
Oh,
Was she after? Yeah,
that was after.
We were out in the rocks.
We were out in the rocks, and we saw this lady doing up downs and burpee. Well, burpees are up downs.
Yeah.
And she was doing her planks and so it was a wonderful thing, and it just confirmed for us, this is what God wants us to do.
Well, we talked to everybody, because now that I think about it, remember it was a lady that was talking about these vaccinations and this baby formula shortage is
Miss Julia,
is BS. She was talking loud and spitting knowledge. I was cracking up. I was like, boy, this is some kind of little spot.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It was very, very powerful. And then we had, it's just been on and on. Last night we had a meeting with other ministers, and it was just a very powerful because Solution is doing, Solution Ministries is also producing Solution Pugilist Ministries. And so that's a private members association where he's going to be able to do whatever he wants to do with these pugilists, and nobody is going to be able to say anything to him, because in the government, the world, the United States, that government, they would tell him, oh, you got to get this license, and you got to get the USAA, and this and this and this and that, and you got to pay this or that or the other. And so they're doing all of these things. Look, my husband has been trained by the greatest fighters. My husband is the greatest pugilist, and so he's not able. The reason why y'all don't know it is because we didn't bend over. We didn't sign no contracts. We did not compromise ourselves for no money. We did not play the game like they wanted us to play. And we won't. And we never will. That we never wanted to. That was never in our hearts to do. And so that's why God said, there's already a situation for y'all. This is a nice structure that you were ordained from birth. So this is why all of the paths that we've had in our lives is so important to all of us. Your situation, your struggle, the times that you said no and been rewarded with that by just having peace in your heart, that's a testimony to God's work. And so no matter how little you think it is, helping someone just with thought, when we pray for somebody, that's God's work. Everybody's praying for everybody. So why should everybody not be ordained to minister their own lives? Because that's what it is. It's your own life. And through the goodness that you do in it, then it reflects to others, and that's how you grow your organization.
Ache.
So, let me see. Free people, sovereign, private people do not have to ask for permission. Allah, Dios, God, already gave it to us. Whatever we ask for from our minds and our heart is given without fail. And I'll say in the words of Minister Partlow, recognize that truth.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what his statement is all the time. Recognize that truth.
We wanted to bring this to you guys tonight because we've gotten so much clarity in how we're going to function. I know that I was talking about the LLC and my frustration. So my relief has been that didn't have to call a tax man. I didn't have to call an attorney or an accountant or anything like that, because it was so funny, because it's like every time that we interviewed tax people, we sure did. Definitely. And we were an accountants, and we were just like, every time after the meeting.
We was on the verge of
always would be on the verge. Yes.
A number of different scenarios. That's no question.
And then the Lord said, nope, don't do that. Don't do it.
And it is quite mind just boggling in a sense to know that this had come across our attention at some, a year ago.
Yeah.
It's like it was right in plain sight.
Yeah. I was so scared. I didn't see it. And the fact that it's such a incredible vehicle to exist in is, I was telling a friend, it's unbelievable. It's like, it's hard to believe that type of freedom and power is
lawfully available.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? After you've seen all of the, so-called yin and yang, the negative, so-called negative side of it, there is a complete answer, solution, free side.
Absolutely.
That's the private side. And it's simple and basic to understand.
Look,
which is beautiful.
Yes, we got our manual to run our faith-based organization. And can I tell you, it's only 45 pages. It's only 45 pages, and it's super easy to comprehend. Yeah. And it's definitely things that you can stand on. Very powerful. And the structure, I just want you guys to understand the power of the structure. Once you are an ordained minister, and this, I wanted to answer some questions because I know that Minister Gabrielle is an ordained minister through Universal Ministries, I think it is. And that is the same ministry that was the first ministry that Minister Partlow joined when he was 16 years old. So that ministry is a 501c3, and that ministry is limited and does not have the protection.
It's outside. It's not outside the jurisdiction. It's
in their jurisdiction.
Yes, it's still public, and you still have to adhere to the.
Yes. And the message that came to me about these organizations that grant people these online ministries, they're approved by the 501c3, so they want people to ordain ministers under this private, this 501. Definitely. So they're not going to tell you about the 508. And they don't want to do that, because even if you are trying to do, a lot of people in our circle, they were desperate. So they were like, okay, I got to get a 50, I got to get a nonprofit so that I can complete the trilogy trust, and have the business trust and the family trust and the nonprofit. But the thing is that the nonprofit on under a 501c3 is tricking you back to contributing pretty much your whole situation back into their status. So into the regulations rather. Yes. So it's having this kind of trust under the 508, that's going to give you a freedom that is just not available to the public. It cannot be. Because people have to know who they are, and they have to know that they have their right to privacy, and only then will they be able to stand on that. So all of the confusion that they have done and continue to do, because know this, the ministries are going to grow. They're going to be people that have the wrong intention, that are going to get this information. They've already been doing it, and they're going to use this information only for the money. They can lawfully charge between $2,000 and $10,000 to consult someone and share this valuable information with them, and it could be a $2,000 payment under the Private Members Association, or a $2,000 contribution if it's to the ministry, if it's to the church. So there's definitely ways to create, to make this position work for people, but you also have to use your mind and your heart with it. Your first intention can't be, oh, I know that I can get $10,000 from somebody, so let me charge somebody $10,000 for what I know, because once you get the paperwork and you get the knowledge, the simplicity of this of creating the structure is one that someone who does not know how to write can free themselves from this government's tyranny and become their own religious private organization that cannot be touched by any government. That's how God does. That's how Allah does. You understand? Makes it simple because it is for the people. It was always meant to be that way, but the people were blinded and calcified, so they don't know. Some don't know. A lot do. Many do, more than what you think, because they have this false illusion that, the people that have knowledge are just crazy. No, the people that have knowledge are just minding their business. They're not trying to fool you with their information, telling you, give me all this money and I'm going to give you all the, I'm going to give you the experience that I had. And we had an experience with Brother Jonah Bey on, when he was doing the lecture. It was discharge. It was about being able to be private, because that's what we've been doing. We've been studying this for the last 12 years, trying to get the key, right? And so when we went to this session with Jonah Bey,
a number of different topics.
What we learned a lot of good stuff that was like, wow, for real, that's what's up. But then we also learned that in order to get to the really good stuff, you gotta pay about $300, $500 for another session, another lecture that's going to lead you to another lecture that costs more money, that's going to keep you under his lecture circuit. And I will say that to him till this day, if he came to me and asked me.
We even got a couple, what was that, DVDs that we bought? Discharge and Injunction. What, and that's, I guess, if you got in some kind of court situation, yep, that you could discharge the fines or what have you. But either way, even I remember the disc just being not really of good quality. It was just disappointing because it was not a beneficial product.
No.
Definitely not worth the money that was being charged.
It left us more confused with some truth that helped us see that, okay, so we know that there's something out there. That's what I learned through that process. And look, it's so funny because when you're doing God's work, you always got to make your mark, right? So, well, sometimes you do. The mark is just made organically. But on that day, I was so bothered because we met a gentleman by the name of Tom. We'll just say his first name. That's all we know.
Tom from the seminar.
The seminar.
We sent him, and he's going to be on the call with
with the minister
Partlow Tuesday.
So Tom from the seminar, who is Minister Tom, we can definitely say that. Yeah. And so he took all the money that he was able to gather to pay for the fees of Jonah Bey. Bringing him. And Jonah Bey he was taking his money. He got treated with the spirits that he required, the liquors, the dark liquors, whatever liquor it is that he wanted, that he was gifted. Even we came offering gifts, bearing gifts. We came and we gave a Orgon Energy battery pyramid for his ministry. Mm-hmm. And so that day when we went on break, he had a break, and what was it that spurred that he was talking about donating, that he'll still take donations. And I think Tom was trying to take donations to give to Jonah Bey for coming. And I was like, but who put this together? Right. And then he said he did. And I mean, if you see this man, you see his heart. Right. And then it's just like, well, the donation should be going to you, sir, because how, that he's already, you got the money already to pay him to be here. He got his part.
Right.
And so you're left with nothing, no benefit outside of the information that you're getting, which, we concluded that it wasn't worth a damn. He's still studying. You know what I'm saying?
I hit him with the text saying, I believe he was like, I'm still studying about these. I said, oh man, I'm still studying about common law of trust and and it's exhausting, but I'm determined
because you feel the truth in there.
I was like, oh,
and that's what happens to all of us. And so we have found that truth and that freedom. Do you want to know what else they showed me? They showed me Harriet Tubman, and they told me that Harriet Tubman was the freedom that she was supposed to offer the people. But Harriet Tubman, knowingly or unknowingly, and I'm going to choose to believe, I think I said this before already, I'm going to choose to believe that it was knowingly, because these powers that were always have had their puppets.
Right.
And so Kanye West was the first one to say that she did not free the slaves. She put them under another corporation, another corporate system, right? And so what the ancestors showed me is that this is the freedom that Harriet Tubman was supposed to offer the people. And this is a freedom that once people know that they're free, they can act upon it immediately. Yeah. Immediately. You don't have to go and write no this or that and go down to the courts and get all these people and put it in the newspaper and send it all so that everybody's aware, and then go to the Secretary of State and ask for their permission. You don't got to do none of that. What you have to do is you have to get your paperwork together, meaning you got to get an EIN number. And I'm not even going to go through all of the things that you have to do, because we've made it simple. We have Minister Partlow. He has spent 57 years of his life creating these articles of organization, existing in this information. And so we're going to let the master do what he does. And so you make a contribution to Master Minister Partlow, and you contribute $60, and it's $60 every month. You're making a contribution so that you have him at your disposal, so that you have access to him and the ministers on his network. That's what the $60 is going for. You're going to receive your articles of organization. If you choose to get a manual, you can contribute $250 to Minister Destiny, and you can get your manual. But you do not need the manual to be a minister and to, have this right. Having the manual does not take the right away from you. It just makes sense, right? So we do that, and we contribute to the people that put in the time and the work to make sure that we have these documents available, so that it is a system that's going to be easy for us as they unleash their chaos on the world, having people feel that they have to get vaccinated to make a living, that they have to get vaccinated to participate in society. That's not the truth. That is the illusion, and it is no more. And so when people are ready to exercise their truth and exercise their rights, it is right there for them instantaneously. It's like that. It is like that. So we wanted to bring this to the study group because we want you guys to understand that some of you in the study group are in the I Syndicate already. In order to get into the I Syndicate, you have to be part of the study group. The study group is a subscription of $25 a month. This subscription pays for the lights to stay on, right? And it pays for the support of this ministry, because this is now a ministry. Master Vibration 13 is under Infinionaire Ministries, so it can act in a public manner as a private member organization, but it is under the ministry of Infinionaire Ministries, and so that makes it tax exempt automatically. I don't gotta file nothing. I don't gotta tell nobody nothing. Don't nobody gotta be all up in my business. I keep my records and my books for my government and my organizations and my successors, not for the government. It ain't none of their business. And so with that, we're able to move forward fast with the plans that they have to, well, one, to kill people. They want to kill, how many? 8 billion? They probably turned it up now. They probably, Bill Gates that shit and was like, well, we can turn it into 16 billion. Why not? Mm-hmm. They're also creating laws so that the people that have made investments, whether it's dinar investments, foreign currency investments, investments in cryptocurrency, investments in gold and silver, they're creating capital gains. So capital gains tax, that means that if you win, they win. And that's some bullshit. So this is why the answer and the solution, the solution for your freedom and protection is here now. Because what you do is, once you set up your ministry, once you set up and you get all of your articles of organization and everything that you have to present to the bank, you open up your bank account, and all of your PayPal, your Coinbase, your Zelle, your Cash App, all of that is then taken into the ministry. Wait, did I say that right? That all of that, yes, all of that here's the thing. Here's the deal.
Everything goes under.
Yes.
the
Once
ministry, and
you
it's protected by that.
yes. Once you contribute the LLC to the ministry, it doesn't matter what you do in that LLC. You can keep it running just like an LLC. So you don't have to, you really don't have to change how you do things in that capacity.
You don't have to change anything. You want to give pretty much every document that's created, your birth certificate, social security number, every single thing should be contributed to the church. And with it being under the church or the ministry, then it is protected in its private jurisdiction, and it is out of the reach and out of being messed with at all by anything.
You can't fool with it at all.
Anything from the system.
Mm-hmm.
So it being under the protection of the church puts it out of reach of the government.
Minister Gabrielle says, yeah, I've been looking for the real info since 1998. 508 first dropped in my lap in November, but still lots of convoluted information. Finally. And see, and the thing is, it's so interesting that you said convoluted information and you use those words, because that's a description of the convolution that was happening inside of us. Because it was very clear to me that the reason why the information I wasn't able to see it because I was in too much fear, and I needed for that to happen so that I could recognize that that's why it didn't happen, because I was not ready for it. And so, see, we're ready for it now. Trust and believe there's still some people in this ministry, in this study group, that are not ready. And there's nothing wrong with that, because you just got to feel it when you feel it. And when you feel it, you know it. And when you know it, you move on it. So, because Mo Life is a minister in this system, and he's been with us forever. Yes. He's the one that introduced it to us, but it was not the time. And, it just wasn't. And what a wonderful thing that it wasn't, because we were able to learn why it wasn't. And that's the important part, because now you fix the glitch, and now it's to infinity and beyond for real. You know what I mean? Symphony says, hola, Symphony, welcome. She says, hola, I'm going to say, Ministry, Infinity Ministry members. Glad I was able to make the service. I have a question. ¿Cuál es tu pregunta, Symphony? What is your question? While she's posting her question, if anybody else has any questions, they will be able to ask. And we're making this call just to 10 after the hour. We're at 3 after the hour right now. If you are interested in knowing more about this straight from Minister Partlow, then you can go to his sessions that he offers, his services, his church services on religious organizations every Tuesday and Thursday. And I sent you guys the information before. I'm definitely going to put the information back up again. You are free to call or to text the minister, and just make sure that you let him know that you're from the Infinity Ministries, and he'll know what to do. Can we ordain ourselves? You cannot ordain yourself. You're already ordained by God. So, but on your paperwork, there has to be 3 ministers, 3 signatures on there. So you have the minister who ordained you, which in your case, it would be us, one of us, the minister who ordained you, and then the minister who ordained us, which would be Minister Paltrow, and then Partlow, I'm sorry, and then it would be you. You're the minister. So in that paperwork, you're ordained as a minister, so you're not able to ordain yourself as a minister because you're not an ordained minister before you got ordained. Got it? So once and just know this, that those of you that are familiar with trust law, in trust law, when a grantor issues a trust to trustees, the grantor no longer has anything to do with that trust. They're not legally responsible. They can't have no say about it. They can't have no word about what's done. So that's what it is. So in this form of trust, this religious organization, the minister is playing the role of the grantor. So me as your minister who ordained you, I don't have anything to do with your business and what you create with your ministry. That's your ministry. I trusted you enough to say, yeah, she's a minister. I vouch for her, but my vouching for you and my ordaining you does not make me responsible for you. You must still be responsible for yourself. So it is up to you to govern your ministry. It is up to you to make all of the decisions in that ministry. And so there's some things that you're going to learn as we move along, like what positions you're able to hold in the ministry. And I'll just let you know right now, there's 4 positions that have to be involved in the ministry. You got the minister, the president, the secretary, and the treasurer. The minister could be all of those positions until those positions are filled. In the case of Solution and I am the minister of Infinionaire Ministries. He is the president of that ministry. He's also, and actually we're both the I ministers of this, but we both, when I'm playing the role of minister, he's playing the role of president. Like right now in this service, this church service in the layer that we're having right now, this layer is our church. Where you're residing at, receiving it is the church. And so in this example, right now, I'm the minister, and Minister Solution is acting as the president because I'm present, right? And so if I was not here, then or if he was speaking, then he would be ministering, and I'm acting as his support as the president. And so I also act as a secretary when he got to say something, when he's driving and he has to text somebody, then I become his secretary and I send the notes on his behalf. And then when he, gives me money to make a deposit or whatever, then I become the treasurer. I'm acting as the treasurer. And all of those positions could be within the ministry until the ordained minister decides to give that position to someone. And you can't pay them. They could only be volunteers, and then you give them a contribution. This is how we keep things in order, and we stay private. The moment that you come in with payment, that's a business, and that's under another vehicle. That's under the Private Members Association. I got 2 more minutes, so I'm going to let you know this. Your Private Members Association and your 508 faith-based organization is going to protect you if you have children and you have been homeschooling your children. They're wanting to make you vaccinate if you're homeschooling. We know that don't make no sense at all, not never. And so moms and dads have to protect themselves and their family with their rights, their inalienable rights, and put together this ministry for their home and say, no, we have the right to a private education. And this is our private education, and you can't fool with it no way, no how. Oh, you think you can fool with my private education association? Okay. All right. Well, go ahead and see the church. Go on and talk to the church, because the church is going to make sure that you recognize and that you're aware that you're trespassing in a major way. And if you trespass against my rights, I can put a UCC lien on your assets. Can we get any more clearer than that? Because I think that the people that know this law, that try to bully us, they know what the hell assets are. They know what the hell a UCC lien is against their assets.
The minister even said that, I assume, the fines for trespassing against someone of a religious status is multiplied.
Yes, by 100.
Yeah, so.
Multiply by 100. You are your own government and have authority over any government because of your religious faith. And the Constitution protects that. And that's why this is all over the world. Another question real quick, because we got to go and I have something I want to share with you guys, is that you are, as an ordained minister with iMinistries, you are ordained internationally all over the world. So this law is working anywhere you go. because it is the law of God. Ache. And so it is. And so with that, Solution, do you have any other things you want to share?
No, we covered it.
All right. So with that, I would like to exit tonight. Solution came in. Y'all know how I like to do when I introduce new music. For those of you that came in and didn't get a chance to hear what I was introducing to the ministry, you know how in churches they be having, the church songs and
Yes.
It was Jesus. It was Jesus. That's church music. So this, what I'm about to share with you, this is our church music, and this is for our brothers and sisters that are ministering in the Moorish American structure of what religion of that religion, and we respect that and we honor that. We are part of that, but we have our own ministries, and so we are associated with everyone that's ministering the word of God. And so with that, I say Ache to the royal family and the Moorish Americans, and to this King Darius, King Zakir, and King J. Brandon Bay. Here you go, ladies and gentlemen, the Moab Anthem.
This is not a cult. This is not a game.
Damn,
This is truth. They done let the Moabs in the dough. 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 Islam is Allah, Spirit. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough. Turbans and the feds, green star, red shirt. Yeah. We was in every nation before Europeans was on earth. Queen Khalifa ruled in California, and that's law. Anunnaki giants had our faces standing tall. Yeah. Simulation like the Sims, the sheep answer the black. But Noble Drew Ali told us that we was never that. Pilgrimage to Mecca took a trip up to Chicago. Yeah. India means indigenous. Come get this knowledge. All y'all live in hell, Negro, colored, African. All law, all is well. Spread my wings and fly on. Slavery is fabricated. They were slaves before us. Slave derived from Slavics, and that wasn't us. I'm focused on the hidden history they hid after we flooded. Treaty of peace and friendship, nigga. Don't think I don't know it. My woman ain't no bitch, cause she's an empress, Moabitess. And we got nationality, nigga. Come get like us. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Hey, we gonna keep doing it till
They done
we
let
get
the
these ones in
Moabs
tune
in
with
the
this
dough.
law. You know what I'm saying?
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Yes, sir.
Islam is Allah, Spirit.
Royalty.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Allahu Akbar.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
King Zakir. Moorish American land. Moorish American chief. Moorish American 5. Indigenous king when you see me. Yes. We are the 7 we gods. Infinite spiritual being. Alhamdulillah for Allah. See Allah that got the Nazim. Yes. Prophet Noble Drew Ali. Yes. Who put me in tune? Chief. 20. Nigga, we don't draw them colors. Cause crayons we never be. Black. We got a real nationality, nigga. Be on the law when you drawing with me. Indigenous pussy, I know who I be. Kufas, I'm knowing they non-believers. Law on the draw, I be the leader. See, I'm enforcing the peace. See, when you one of the most, we don't perpetuate beef. Holy Quran, Holy Quran, right over left in the streets. This be the anthem for all of the members. Larry Hoover, Chief Malik. Yes.
They done let the Moabs in the
They all
dough.
Moorish Americans. You know what I'm
They
saying?
done let the Moabs in the dough.
What's up, Mo?
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Peace to the
They
guys.
done let the Moabs in the dough.
Yeah.
Islam,
All praise
Is-
to Allah. 5 on the left, 2 on the
Allah.
right. Get right.
Spirit. They done let the
I
Moabs in
respect
the
Noble Drew
dough.
Ali.
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
Oh, you a coward shooting shots at your own brother, but you won't. Go and get them toys for George Floyd. These gangsters ain't grown, got the mindset of little boys. Coulda did like the mafia and made your own city, boy. Instead, you rather die for a block you don't even own. Instead of cleaning up the streets, you riding with a dirty phone. 12 on your case. You coulda had a free name, one from your forefathers, and dropped your old slave name. I'm just giving
They
free
done let
game,
the Moabs in the dough.
and the real one's gonna
They
peep
done let
game.
the Moabs in the dough.
Jay Brandon,
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
hey,
They done let the Moabs in the dough.
MSTA.
Islam is Allah, Spirit. They done let the Moabs in the dough. They done let the Moabs in the dough.
That was powerful. That was powerful. Thank you all so much for checking that out with us. I got one more for you. You know, we can't end this day. We can't end it without saying Ache to the ancestors. We can't do that. So here you go. You all have a great weekend. We'll be in touch this weekend. Adios, everyone. Ache, ache, ache. 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 13, ache, ache, ache. 13.
When I feel the sound of music vibrating in me, I take hold of the energy and ride the frequency. My soul makes the melody of my life, so I must see. Every tune that comes through me brings balance to my being. I have the power to change the direction in me through sound. I have the power to change the direction in me through my mind. I am creation, I am animation, I am the brightest vibrant star in all of the constellations. I am zip, pepper, sass, punch, bounce, moxie, mojo, whatever you call it. I am Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, 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 ache. Ache, ache, ache. 13, ache, ache, ache. 13, ache. Ache, ache. Ache, 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 ache. 13, ache, ache, ache. 13, ache. Ache, ache. Ache, 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 ache. 13, ache, 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 13.